The arrival of Columbus marked the dawn of Europe's most daring age. In his wake came explorers, priests, and soldiers driven by the same creed: gold, glory, and God. The Catholic monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella, envisioned empire. Their banners flew across the seas, and from Spain sailed men who believed they were chosen to claim new lands for crown and cross. These men were the conquistadors. To the world they entered, they were both heralds of apocalypse and agents of transformation. In 1519, Hernán Cortés landed on the shores of Mexico. With him came barely 600 soldiers, a handful of horses, and cannons that roared like thunder. Against him stood the mighty Aztec Empire, ruled by Moctezuma II, in the city of Tenochtitlan, a city larger and more magnificent than any in Spain. Cortés was cunning. He forged alliances with tribes oppressed by Aztec rule, turning their hatred into his weapon. He marched inland, gathering allies, until he reached the island city rising from the waters of Lake Texcoco. At first, he was welcomed with gifts of gold. The Aztecs believed him perhaps a messenger of their gods. But soon mistrust and betrayal poisoned the air. Riots erupted, Moctezuma was slain, and Cortés was forced into retreat in the bloody escape known as the La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows. But he returned. In 1521, he laid siege to Tenochtitlan. For months, starvation and smallpox ravaged the city. Its canals ran with corpses, its temples burned, its people perished. At last, the great city fell, and with it the Aztec Empire. While Mexico smoldered, another conqueror turned his eyes south. Francisco Pizarro, hardened by war and greed, led fewer than 200 men into the heart of the Andes. There he found the Inca Empire, a realm of roads, palaces, and treasures beyond imagination. At its head was Atahualpa, emperor of millions. Pizarro invited him to Cajamarca, offering peace. But it was a trap, as Atahualpa entered the square with thousands of his unarmed followers. Spanish cannons roared, horses charged, steel cut through flesh. Thousands of Incas were slaughtered in hours, while not a single Spaniard fell. Atahualpa himself was captured. He offered a ransom, rooms filled with gold and silver, the greatest ransom ever paid in history. Yet once the treasure was delivered, the Spaniards strangled him. The Inca world fractured. Cusco fell, and though resistance flickered in the mountains, the last stronghold, Vilcabamba, was destroyed in 1572. The conquests were not won by swords alone. The Spaniards brought with them an enemy the native peoples could not see: smallpox. The disease spread faster than armies, felling millions before battle was even joined. Entire cities were emptied, empires weakened. What cannon and cavalry could not conquer, disease accomplished. The Spaniards also wielded faith as a weapon. Crosses were planted where idols had stood. Churches rose upon the ruins of temples. Priests baptized thousands, often at sword's edge, declaring salvation in exchange for submission. From the ashes of the Aztec and Inca worlds, Spain built its empire. Ships laden with gold and silver crossed the Atlantic, fueling Spain's rise as the most powerful kingdom in Europe. But for the peoples of the Americas, the cost was apocalyptic. Cultures were shattered, languages silenced, millions dead from war, disease, and forced labor. Where once stood mighty empires, there now rose colonies under a foreign crown. The Spanish conquest of the Americas was one of the great turning points of history. It ended civilizations that had flourished for centuries and replaced them with a new order. To Spain, it brought wealth, empire, and global power. To the world, it marked the beginning of European dominance. But to the Aztecs and Incas, it was the end of their world, an apocalypse that came not from the heavens, but from across the sea. And yet, out of the fire and blood, a new world emerged, one forever marked by the clash of sword and spear, cross and temple, Europe and America. The echoes of those conquests still shape the world today.